Philippians, guys. I'm gonna try to do a reading for you of the Testament of Solomon. I'm gonna try to read this whole thing in its entirety, and this I'm going to skip the intro pages. This is going to be about 20 pages. There's going to be some description of the book. I could probably read that in a separate video, but I'm going to try to read this all in one sitting without the camera timing out. Maybe I'll do separate videos later, put some little monologue. I'm going to try to keep the monologue out of it, but this is about the demon Ornias, who was also an extortionist. And Solomon confronts a bunch of other demons, and forces them to perform tasks as far as building the temple. But I figure I'd just tell you this right now. I'm going to try to keep the monologue between my reading short. I ain't going to promise that, but I'm going to just try to read it straight through. So, all right, here goes. Blessed art thou, O Lord God, who didst give to Solomon his authority. To thee be glory and might forever. Amen. And behold, while the temple of the city of Jerusalem was being built, and the craftsmen were at work on it, the demon Ornias used to come at sunset and take half the pay of the young overseer and half his rations, and he used to suck the thumb of his right hand. And the young man who I love dearly was wasting away. So this demon was a extortionist, came in human form and extorted from him and even sucked his blood. And so now I, Solomon, questioned the young man one day and said to him, Did I not think more of you than all the craftsmen that work in the temple of God, and grant you double pay and rations? How is it that you are wasting away day by day? And the young man said, Let me tell you, O king, what happened to me. After we are all dismissed from work on the temple of God at sunset, while I am resting, an evil demon comes and takes away half my pay and half my rations, and takes hold of my right hand and sucks my thumb. And behold, my soul is in torment, and my body is wasting away day by day. When I heard this, I, King Solomon, went into the temple of God and prayed him with all my soul, praising him day by day that the demon might be delivered into my hands, and that I might have authority over him. And it came to pass that as I was praying to the God of heaven and earth, that a little ring with a seal carved from precious stone was given to me from the Lord Sabaoth by the archangel Michael. And he said to me, Take, Solomon, son of David, a gift sent to you by the Lord Sabaoth, the Most High God, as you will be able to confine all the demons, both female and male, and through their agency build Jerusalem while you wear the seal of God. And with very great joy I began to praise and glorify the Lord of heaven and earth. And the next day I ordered the young man to come to me, and I gave him the seal and said to him, At whatever hour the demon comes upon you, throw this ring at the demon's chest and say to him, Solomon summons you to him. And then come to me quickly, and do not be frightened or alarmed. And behold, the usual hour came, Ornias, the cruel demon, like burning fire, to take the young man's wages, and as was his custom. But the lad, according to Solomon's orders, threw the ring at the demon's chest, saying to him, Solomon summons you to him. And he went off in haste to Solomon. And the demon cried out loud and said to the young man, Why do you do this to me? Take the ring and give it to Solomon, and I will give you all the silver and gold that there is in the earth. Only do not take me away to Solomon. And the young man said, As the Lord lives, the God of Israel, I cannot cope with you unless I take you away to Solomon. So, other words, the guy's saying, not all the silver and gold in the world could make me have to deal with you. No way. So anyway, and the young man said to Solomon, King Solomon, I have brought you the demon as you told me, and behold, he is standing in front of the gates outside, bound and crying out loud in a loud voice that he will give me all the silver and gold there is on earth to prevent me from bringing him to you. And when I, Solomon, heard this, I got up from my throne and saw the demon shivering and trembling, and I said to him, Who are you, and what is your name? The demon said, I am called Ornias. And I said to him, Tell me, what sign of the zodiac do you lie under? And the demon answered and said, The water pourer. And I suffocate those who lie under the water pourer, who because of their lust for women have called upon the sign of the Virgin. I also appear in sleep, changing into three forms. Sometimes I am like a man lusting for the beauty of young girls not yet fully grown. Other words, he's a master of pedophiles. Sometimes I take wings in heavenly regions. Sometimes I take the appearance of a lion. I am an offspring of an archangel, the power of God. But I am inhibited by the archangel Uriel. When I, Solomon, heard the name of the archangel, I prayed and glorified the God of heaven, the name of the archangel and earth. When I, Solomon, heard the name of the archangel, I prayed and glorified the God of heaven and earth. And when I had sealed the demon, I set him to work at stone cutting, to cut stones of the temple that were lying at the seashore and had been brought through the Arabian Sea. And he was afraid to touch the cutting tools. And he said to me, I pray you, King Solomon, set me free, and I will bring you all the demons up to you. Since he refused to be subject to me, I prayed to the archangel Uriel to come to my aid, and immediately I saw the archangel Uriel coming down to me from heaven. And he ordered a great fish to come up from the sea, and he dried up their providence and cast his portion upon the ground, and in that way he subjected the great demon Ornias, so that he cut the stones and contributed to the construction of the temple which I, Solomon, was building. And again I glorified the God of heaven and earth, and I ordered Ornias to go round to his portion, and I gave him the seal and said, Be off, and bring me here the ruler of the demons. Ornias took the ring and went off to Beelzebul and said to him, Solomon summons you to him. Beelzebul said to him, Tell me, is this Solomon you speak of? Ornias threw the ring at Beelzebul's chest, saying, King Solomon summons you. And Beelzebul cried out with a great burning flame of fire, and he got up and followed him of necessity and came to me. And when I saw the ruler of the demons, I glorified God and said, Behold art thou, O Lord God Almighty, who didst give to me thy servant Solomon wisdom that sits beside the throne, and did make subject to me the power of the demons. And I questioned him and said, Tell me, who are you? The demon said, I am Beelzebul, the leader of the demons. I commanded that he should stay close beside me and make arrangements for the demons to appear before me. He himself promised to bring me all the unclean spirits in chains. I again glorified the God of heaven and earth, giving thanks to him at all times. I inquired of the demon whether there was a female amongst the demons. And when he said there was, I asked to see her, and Beelzebul went off and fetched, how do I pronounce? Okay, I'll try to pronounce this. Anosculus, for me to see. Beelzebul fetched Anosculus, or however you pronounce it, for me to see. She was very beautiful in form, and had the body of a fair-skinned woman, but the shanks of a mule. So other words, what an ass. Um, when she came to me, I said to her, "Tell me who you are." And she said, "I am an Osculus, the spirit bodily form who lurks in the holes in the earth. And I have my dwelling place in caves, but my ways are varied. Sometimes I choke a man, sometimes I pervert them from their nature, but most frequent dwellings are cliffs, caves, chasms. Often, too, I have intercourse with them, since they consider me a woman. Most often with their often with the olive skin, because they share my star. For these worship of my star secretly and openly, and then do not realize that they harm themselves and stimulate me more to mischief. For they want through recollection of it to get money, but I supply little, even those who worship me very well. And I asked her whence she was born. She said, from an unseasonable noise, the so-called echo of the sky when it emits a laden noise. I was born in a wood. I said to her, under what star do you pass? And she said, under the full moon, because it is under the moon that I travel for the most part. What is the angel that inhibits you? And she said, the very same as in you, O king. Thinking that this was a piece of foolery, I ordered the soldier to hit her. But she cried out and said, I tell you, O king, the wisdom of Israel, and okay, I messed my, wait a minute, let me try this again. I ordered the soldier to hit her, but she cried out and said, I tell you, O king, the wisdom of God that is given to you, and I blessed the name of the Holy One of Israel, and I ordered her to spin hemp. I ordered her to spin hemp for the ropes of the work of the temple of God. Thus, sealed and bound, she was inhibited, so I made her stand spinning hemp night and day. So she became the hemp spinner. And I ordered another demon to be brought to me, and he brought me Asmodeus, the evil demon, bound. And I asked him, who are you? And he with a threatening look said, who are you? And I said to him, under punishment as you are, do you dare answer me like this? And he fixed me with the same look and said, how should I answer you? You are a man's son, and I am an angel's, though born of a man's daughter, so that no word from a member of the heavenly race to be earthborn is overbearing. My star lurks in heaven, and men call me the wagon. Others call me the snake-footed. For this reason, smaller stars, too, take their position along with my star, as for Father's dignity and throne is in heaven to this day. Do not ask me many questions, Solomon, for your kingdom also in due time will be torn into pieces. This glory of yours is transient. You have but a short time to torment us, and then we shall again have free range over mankind, that they may not, we may have free range over mankind, that they may worship us as gods. For they do not know the names of the angels that are appointed over us. When I, Solomon, heard this, I bound him with great precaution, and I ordered him to be flogged, and to confess what was his function. The demon said, I am renowned Asmodeus. I increase men's evil doing throughout the world. I plot against the newlywed. I mar the beauties of maidens and estrange their hearts. I said to him, is this your only function? He replied, through the stars I spread madness among women. Then it spreads itself in great waves. And I killed up to 7. So I adjured him by the name of the Lord Sabaoth, fear God, Asmodeus, and tell me, what angel are you inhibited by? The demon said, Raphael, who stands in the presence of God. I am also driven away by the liver of a fish along with its gall smoked over saffron's ashes. So he don't like the smell of fish? Well, I myself eat salmon, and I know people that don't like salmon and don't like the smell of salmon or certain fish. So some humans don't like fish. So other words, he doesn't like fish. Um, Anyway, I questioned him, saying, "Do not hide, do not hide anything from me, because I, Solomon, the son of David, for I am the son." Okay, do not hide anything from me, for I am Solomon, the son of David, and tell me the name of the fish that you reverence. And he said, "The name is called sheetfish, and it is found in the rivers of Assyria. For there only is produced For there only it is produced, because I too am found in those parts." And I said to him, "Nothing else from you, Asmodeus?" And he said to me, "The power of God, who through his seal bound me with this unbreakable bonds, knows that what I told you is true. And I beg you, King Solomon, do not condemn me to the water." But I, smiling, "As the Lord lives, the God of your fathers, you shall have iron to wear, and you shall make clay for the construction of the temple." And I ordered that there should be 10 water pots, that they should be heaped upon him. And with a terrible groan the demon began to carry out his orders. Asmodeus did Asmodeus did this because he had foreknowledge also. And I, Solomon, glorified God, who had given me the authority. The liver of the fish and gall, along with the piece of white storax, I burned over Asmodeus, because of his strength, and his voice was inhibited, and his tooth full of sharpness. And I ordered Beelzebul to stand before me again, and I sat with him beside me, brought and I thought it fit to ask him, "Why are you the only ruler of demons?" He said to me, "Because I am the only one of the heavenly angels left remaining, for I was a leading heavenly angel called Beelzebul. As with me as a second impious one, whom God cut off, and now confined here he rules my folk that are in prison in Tartarus, where where he gets his food in the Red Sea, and his functions." And he said to me, "I too destroy through tyrants, and cause the demons to be worshipped among men, and excite holy priests and I excite holy priests who have been chosen by God to lust. And I bring about jealousies in cities and murders, and I bring on wars." And I said to him, "Bring me the one you mentioned, who feeds in the Red Sea." And he said, "I will not bring up anyone to you myself, but the one called Ephippus shall come, who will bind him and bring him from the depth." And I said to him, tell me how he comes into the depths of the sea, and what his name is." He said, "Do not ask me. I can Okay, do not ask me. You cannot learn it from me. For he himself will come to you, and I too am with you." I said to him, "Tell me, what star are you associated with?" He said, "What is the evening star among men?" I said, "Tell me what angel you are inhibited by." He said, "By the all-powerful God. He is called among the Hebrews Hettike. He he that came down from on high. But he is the Emmanuel of the Greeks, and I am afraid of him and tremble before him. If anyone adjures me by Eloi, his great name of power, I disappear." When I, Solomon, heard this, I commanded him to saw Theban marbles, whatever that name is, that type of marble. How do you spell it? Yeah, anyway, I'd have to look that up. Theban marbles. So some kind of type of marble he was sawing. I have to go look that up. When he began to saw, all the demons shouted with a loud voice because their king Beelzebul, I Solomon, questioned him, saying, "If you want to obtain your release, tell me about the heavenly things." And Beelzebul said, "Listen, O king, if you burn gum and incense and sea bulbs, nard and saffron, and light 7 lamps in an earthquake, you will make your house secure. But if you are pure, you light them in an early morning sunlight, you will see how heavenly serpents wind along and draw the chariot of the sun." Is that indicating, that's things I read about on the internet, the symbol of the solar serpent? Yeah, it sounds like the solar serpent they're talking about. Oh, okay, anyway, I lost my place, jibber jabbering. Okay, when I, Solomon, heard this, I rebuked him and said, "Be quiet and solve the marbles like I told you to." Okay. So, yeah, lose my page before I lose my page here. Okay. Okay, this is how it continues. I'll make sure I don't got 2 pages stuck together. So it continues, chapter V, Roman numeral V11, V111. Okay, so that's how it ends. Sold the marbles as I told you to, and then it. Oh, wait a minute. Here is. Okay, so now it continues in Roman numeral chapter V111. Seven intertwined comely demons, the 7 elements, world rulers of darkness, guile, strife, clotho, storm, error, power, and worst. This last one foretells Solomon succumbing to love. They are set to dig the foundations of the temple. A headless demon named Murder, seeing through his breasts, continually severing and devouring men's heads, inhibited by the fiery lighting. Let me do this again. Inhibited by the fiery lightning, for the moment he is ordered to remain with Beelzebul. A demon like a great dog called Rod, mastering men's minds through the throat and destroying them, inhibited by Brothis. He offers to show Solomon's servant a green stone in the mountain, and Solomon agrees. When he brings it to Solomon, decrees that he and the headless demon Murder should be bound and carry the stone round like a lamp day and night for the craftsmen at work. Later they too are set to work cutting marble. An Arabian demon like a lion rampant called Lion. Guys, we're gonna do the second installment of the Testament of Solomon here. And since this camera times out, a better camera than I had, I couldn't do this in one sitting. It timed out, and I only got so much capacity in the memory card. So what I'm gonna do to finish this up, might take another video, but what I'm gonna decide to do is continue where I left off in the last video and start in the chapter that I was just finishing, and then go from there, and then it'll maybe refresh you from the last video. So here goes. I'm going to go ahead and read this, and this is from the other video, but I'll continue into the rest of it here. Okay, and I ordered Beelzebul to stand before me again, and I sat him beside me, and I thought in fit to ask him, "Why are you the only ruler of the demons?" He said to me, "Because I am the only one of the heavenly angels left remaining. For I was a leading angel called Beelzebul, and with me was a second impious one from God cut off, and now confined here he rules my folk that are imprisoned in Tartarus. He gets his food from the Red Sea, and in his own time will come to triumph. And I said to him, what are your functions? And he said to me, I too destroy through tyrants, and I cause demons to be worshipped among men, and excite holy priests who have been chosen by God to lust. And I bring about jealousies in cities and murders. I bring on wars. And I said to him, bring me the one that you mentioned, who feeds in the Red Sea. But I said, I will not bring up anyone to you myself, but the one who is called Ephippas shall come, who will bind him and bring him from the depth. And I said to him, tell me how he comes to be in the depth of the Red Sea and what his name is. He said, do not ask me, you cannot learn it from me, for he himself will come to you, because I too am with you. I said to him, tell me, what star are you associated with? He said, it is called the evening star amongst men. Tell me, I said, tell me, what angel are you inhibited by? He said, by the all-powerful God. He is called among the Hebrews Patik, that came from down on high, but he is the Emmanuel of the Greeks. And I am afraid of him and tremble before him. If anybody adjures me by Eloi, his great name of by Eloi, his great name of power. If anybody adjures me by Eloi, his great name of power, I disappear. When I, Solomon, heard this, I commanded him to saw Theban marbles, special kind of marble, look it up. When he began to saw, all the demons shouted in a loud voice because of their king Beelzebul. Solomon questioned him, saying, if you want to obtain your release, tell me about heavenly things. And Beelzebul said, listen, O king, if you burn gum, incense, and sea bulbs, nard and saffron, and light 7 lamps in an earthquake, you will make your house secure. But that is, if you are pure. You light them in the early morning at sunlight, you will see the heavenly serpents wind along and draw the chariot of the sun. So that's some stories you see about the solar serpent, I guess. But anyway, when I, Solomon, heard this, I rebuked him and said, be quiet and saw the marbles like I told you to. So, and here's a little piece that I skipped out here. I think it's in the chapter. It says chapters Roman numeral V11 and chapter XV11 III. Excuse me. All follow the same pattern. Demons are mentioned, questioned as to their names and functions by the angel by whom is inhibited, and finally assigned to work in the temple. The contents are summarized. Then this Roman numeral VII. Lix Tatrex, who carries his face high in the air, but the rest of his body winding like a snail. He raises a violent dust storm to frighten Solomon. He is busiest in summer, causing chaos and fires and Mediterranean fever, and is inhibited by the angel Azael. He is ordered to throw stones to the craftsmen at the top of the temple. Okay, and now it continues. 7 intertwined comely demons, the 7 elements, world rulers of darkness, guile, strife, clotho, storm, error, power, and worst. The last one foretells Solomon succumbing to love. They are set to dig the foundations of the temple. And a headless demon named Murder, seeing through his breast, continually severing and devouring men's heads, inhibited by the fiery lightning. For the moment he is ordered to remain with Beelzebul. A demon like a great dog called Rod, mastering men's minds through the throat and destroying them, inhibited by Brathis. He offers to show Solomon's servant a green stone in a mountain, and Solomon agrees. When he brings it to Solomon, decrees that he and the headless demon Murder should be bound to carry the stone around like a lamp day and night to the craftsmen at work. Later, they too are set to work cutting marble. An Arabian demon, like a lion rampant, called Lion Bearer, He has a legion of demons subordinate to him. And when Solomon asked by whom he is inhibited, replies, by the name of him who endured after many sufferings at the hands of men, whose name is Emmanuel, who even now has chained us and will come to plunge us from a cliff under water. Solomon orders the legion to carry wood and the demon to saw up fire with his nails to feed the furnace. Ordered him to saw wood with his nails to feed the furnace. A three-headed serpent called Serpent's Crest, inhibited by the place of the skull, Golgotha. For there the angel of the great council foreordained that I should suffer, and now openly he will dwell upon the cross. He tells Solomon there is much gold hidden in the foundation of the temple. Solomon finds this and orders him to make bricks. These are starting to look like these things from Clash of the Titans, multiple-headed serpents, and stuff like that. But a female demon with long bedeviled hair called, how do you pronounce this? Obyzuth. O-B-Y-Z-U-T-H. Obyzuth. Attacking women and children, inhibited by the angel Raphael, whose name written on a scrap of paper is a protection against her for women in childbirth. So in other words, attacks babies before their birth and stuff. Solomon orders her to be bound by the hair and hung up in front of the temple, that the children of Israel can see her and glorify God. A demon with the face and feet of a man and the limbs of a serpent, with wings on its back, called winged serpent, who causes abortions in pregnancy among beautiful women. Other words, causes miscarriages. Yeah. He threatens Solomon and burns up with his breath the forests of Lebanon, the timber destined for the temple, so that he turned the timber into tinder. Solomon invokes the angel who inhibits him, Bazazath, and condemns him to saw marbles. A three-headed female demon called Inepsigus, another Clash of the Titans looking thing there, who is also called by countless names. She has connections with the moon and can be brought down by enchantment. Inhibited by Rathaniel, she prophesies to Solomon the division of his kingdom and the destruction of the temple, when the jars in which he has enclosed the demons will be broken and they will be dispersed all over the world again. So in other words, they had demons sealed up in jars. Somebody breaks them. Well, whether Rome, the Romans later invade and all that, things get plundered, imagine, no gold here, what is this? Bust the jars and release the demons. And shoot, even the future invaders believed in certain spirits that they invoked, and they too can be releasing these demons, to do stuff. But anyway, okay, before losing jibber-jabbing and losing my place, she prophesies that these demons in the jars will be broken and they will be dispersed all over the world again, until the Son of God shall be stretched on a tree. So these demons will be released by breaking these jars, and these demons will be causing trouble up until Christ comes and dies on the cross. So, okay, let me, before I lose my place again. When the jars are enclosed, the demons will be broken, they will be dispersed all over the world again, until the Son of God should be stretched on a tree. He whose number is 644, Emmanuel, Solomon does not believe her until his death, when he writes the testament to warn the children of Israel about the demons. He orders her to be fettered with unbreakable bonds. A demon a demon like a horse in front. Okay, let's try this again. A demon like a horse in front and a fish behind. A demon that looks like a horse from a front but has a fish's ass? Okay. A demon like a horse in front and a fish behind. What do you call that? Instead of a mermaid, a merhorse? Damn bug landing on my book. Okay. Okay. A demon with a horse in front and a fish behind, living in the sea and causing shipwrecks. I'm still getting a mental picture of that, but yeah, when you study the things about the Nephilim, there were other even lost scriptures that were fragmented, like in other kind of books, where all these stories where you had these hybrid creatures and stuff that, reading between the lines, you can imagine what the hell kind of Clash of the Titans looking and things that could have been running around. But anyway, a demon like a horse in front and a fish behind in the sea, and causing shipwrecks, who also transforms himself into a man, calling himself Sinopagus, inhibited by how do we spell this angel? I-A-M-E-F. Imeth? Inhibited by Imeth. He is beginning to faint without water, so Solomon puts him in a jar with 10 measures of seawater, smears the mouth with asphalt, pitch, and towel, seals it with the ring, and orders it to be stored in a temple. So he ends up, Mr. Horse's body, fish's ass, goes into a jar with the rest of the collection until eventually the temple gets raided and destroyed, and the jars get smashed. And they cause trouble until Christ's crucifixion and all that. But okay, an anonymous, lavish spirit of a giant slaughtered in the time of the giants, who lives in tombs and causes men to become demoniacs, inhibited by the Savior that is to descend. He is confined with the rest. So is that guy, that possessed dude that was running around practically naked, possessed by all these demons that, in your King James Bible, you guys, probably the minute I read that, you can see right away, and this guy happened to have been running around the caves and all that too. But okay, now the 36 elements: man-shaped, bull-shaped, bird-faced, animal-faced, sphinx-faced, serpent-shaped. Most of them cause physical troubles, and often charms and remedies are given for these. They are set to draw water. And I, Solomon, was honored by all men under heaven. I was building the temple of God, and my kingdom was prospering. All the kings used to come to me to see the temple of God which I was building, and they used to bring me gold and silver, and offer me bronze and iron and lead and timber for the construction of the temple. Among them also came Sheba, queen of the south, who was an enchantress of great skill, and she did obeisance to me. Oh, I'm sure she did. And behold, an aged man of one of the... Okay. All right. And behold, an aged man, one of the craftsmen, threw himself down before me, saying, King Solomon, son of David, have pity on my old age. And I said to him, Tell me, old man, what is it you want? He said, I appeal to you, O king. I am an only son, and every day... Okay, what I meant. Excuse me, I meant, I have an only son, and every day he makes some kind of attack on me. For he hits me in the face and on my head and threatens to murder me. This is why I have come to you, so that you may avenge me. So in my older videos, I have some older videos, like something like 5-6 years ago, when I first read this, and I was wearing a white shirt and my hair was all not tied up in my old home. And I read this about the son abusing his father in a separate video, so if you want to check that out, you can. It's my older videos. The only reason I don't delete them is because These videos are remakes right now of that stuff. Time to be updated, but I don't know. I like my old videos for some reason sometimes. But okay, when I heard this, I gave orders that the son should be brought to me. When he came, I said to him, "Is this the truth about you?" And he said, "O king, I must have been out of my mind to frighten my father in this way. I have. Be merciful on me, O king, for such irregular behavior makes a sorry story." So that when I, Solomon, heard the young man, I urged the old man to think it over, but he was unwilling, and he said he should be put to death. So anyway, I guess just like the guy that beats his wife, they'll play that card too. And I guess they figured that the son was just playing that card and being nice, and then as soon as he goes home, he'll beat up his father again, I guess. And when I saw that the demon Ornias was laughing, I was very angry at his laughing in my presence, and I put the other aside and ordered Ornias to come. And I said to him, "Accursed one, how dare you laugh at me?" He said, "I appeal to you, O king. It was not because of you that I laughed, but because of the unfortunate old man and the wretched youth, his son. For in 3 days he will be dead, and behold, the old man wants to put him to a painful death." And I said, "Is this really so?" The demon said, "Yes, O king." And I ordered the demon to stand aside, and the old man and his son to come. And I ordered them to become friends. And I said to the old man, "In 3 days bring your son to me here." They did obedience to me and departed. And I gave orders that Ananias should be brought to me again. And I said to him, "Tell me how you know this, that in 3 days the young man will be dead." And he said, dang wind, he said, "We demons mount upon the vault of heaven and fly amid the stars. And we hear the decrees that come forth from God and that relate to the lives of men. That we go, and whether by force or influence, or by fire, or by sword, or by mishap, we disguise ourselves and destroy." And I asked him, "Tell me, how is it that you demons are able to go up into heaven?" He said to me, "Whatever is done in perfection in heaven also is upon earth. For the rulers and authorities and the powers fly above and are thought worthy entrance to heaven. But we demons get exhausted, for we have no foothold for ascending or resting, and we fall away like leaves from trees. And men see this and think stars are falling from heaven. It is not so, O king. We fall because of our weakness. Because we have no support from any quarter, we fall down like lightnings upon earth, and burn up cities and set fields on fire. But the stars of heaven are secure in the vault of heaven." When I, Solomon, heard this, I ordered the demon to be kept under guard for 5 days. And after 5 days were summoned, I summoned the old man, and he was unwillingly. After 5 days were over, I summoned the old man, and he was unwilling to come. For he came, and I saw he was broken and miserable. And I said to him, "Where is your son, old man?" He said, "I am now childless, O king, and I without hope. Keep watch over my son's tomb." And I, Solomon, heard this and knew that had been told to me by the demon was true. I glorified the God of heaven and earth. And Sheba, the queen of the south, was astonished as she saw the temple I was building, and she gave 10,000 shekels of bronze. She went into the temple and saw the altar and the cherubim and the seraphim overshadowing the mercy seat, and the 200 precious stones and lamps flashing different colors, lamps of emerald, hyacinth stones, and sapphire. And she saw the vessel was silver and bronze of gold, and the bases of the pillars entwined with bronze wrought like chains. She saw also the brazen sea and its base, and 36 bulls, and they were all working in the temple of God for the wage of one one talent except for the demons. See how. Dang, this camera is still going 21 minutes. Now Adarces, king of the Arabians, sent a letter which ran as follows: Adarces, king of the Arabians, to King Solomon, greeting. Behold, we have heard of the wisdom that had been given to you, and that the man you are, understanding had been given to you from the Lord in respect of the spirits of the air and the earth and under the earth. There is a spirit in Arabia, for at dawn he comes like a wind which blows until the third hour, and its blast is terrible. So he causes some really wicked sandstorms, and it kills men and cattle. So in other words, it's like a sandblaster. You know what a sandblaster could probably do. You ever hear on television these documentaries what sandstorms can actually do to people. But okay. So at dawn comes like a wind which blows until the third hour, a blast is terrible and kills men and cattle, and nothing that breathes can live before the demon. I beg you, therefore, since the spirit is like a wind, to devise something wise in accordance with your wisdom that has been given to you by the Lord your God, and deign to send a man able to arrest it. So they want that demon to be arrested. And behold, we will be yours, King Solomon. Both I and all my people and all my land, even all of Arabia, will be at peace if you can bring about the deliverance for us. Therefore, we beg you, do not ignore our supplication and become our Lord for all time forever. May my Lord fare well always, continually. I, Solomon, I... Alright, yins, guys, we're going to finish off the Testament of Solomon. We're going to continue where I left off yesterday, but I'm going to just review and start at the chapter about the King of the Arabians from the last video here. So just going to start there because then that'll be the end of this book, and then be finished with the whole deal. Alright, so here we go. Now Adarces, king of the Arabians, sent a letter which ran as follows: Adarces, king of the Arabians, to King Solomon, greeting. Behold, we have heard of the wisdom that had been given you, the wisdom that had been given you by the man. Okay, all right, let me start this over. Adarces, king of the Arabians, to King Solomon, greeting. Behold, we have heard of the wisdom that has been given you, that as the man you are, understanding has been given to you from the Lord in respect of the spirits of the air and the earth and under the earth. There is a spirit in Arabia, for at dawn there comes a wind. Men and cattle and nothing that breathes can live before the demon. I beg you, therefore, since the spirit is like a wind, to devise something wise in accordance with the wisdom that has been given you by the Lord your God, and deign to send a man able to arrest it. And behold, we will be yours, King Solomon. Both I and all of my people and all the land, even all of Arabia, will be at peace if you can bring about the deliverance for us. Therefore, we beg you, do not ignore our supplication, and behold, our Lord for all time forever. May the Lord fare well always, continually. I, Solomon, when I have read this letter, I folded it and gave it to my slave, saying to him, after 7 days, remind me of this letter. Jerusalem had been built, and the temple was being completed. And there was a great cornerstone which I wanted to put into place as a main cornerstone to complete the temple of God. And all the craftsmen and all the demons that were cooperating with them came together to bring the stone and set it on the pinnacle of the temple. But they were not strong enough to lift it. But after 7 days I remembered the letter of the king of the Arabians, and I called my slaveling and said to him, Load up your camel and take a wineskin and this seal and go to Arabia, to the place where. But after. Okay, wait a minute. I almost lost my place. Excuse me. But after 7 days I remembered later the king of the Arabians, and I called my slave and saying, Load up your camel and take a wineskin and this seal and go to Arabia, to the place where the evil spirit blows. And behold, the wineskin and the ring in front of the mouth of the wineskin. Yep. So tell him to hold the ring above the wineskin to seal it, I guess, when the demon goes in. And when the wineskin is inflated, you will find that it is a demon who inflates it. Then quickly tie the wineskin up tightly. And when you have sealed it with the ring, load it onto your camel and bring it here. So go and fare you well. And the slave did as he was ordered and journeyed to Arabia. And when the people were doubtful whether he would, after all, be able to arrest the evil spirit, and at the daybreak, the servant got up and stood in front of the spirit's blast, and he put the wineskin on the ground, and on it he put the ring also, and it entered the wineskin and inflated it. But the slave stood and tied the wineskin tightly at the mouth, in the name of the Lord Sabaoth, and the demon was kept as a prisoner in the wineskin. The slave too remained for 3 days to see all that to make sure all that was well. And the spirit remained for 3 days. Okay, wait a minute. The slave too remained for 3 days to see that all is well. And the spirit no longer blew. And the Arabians recognized that he had safely confined the spirit when he loaded the wineskin onto the camel. The Arabians sent the slave on his way with gifts and honors, praising God, for they now had peace. But the slave brought the spirit and set it on top of the temple. On the next day, I, Solomon, went into the temple, and I was worried about the main cornerstone. And the wineskin, standing up, walked 7 paces and stood on its mouth and did obedience to me, and amazed that although tied up in a wineskin, it still was able to walk. I told it to stand up. The wineskin stood up and stood inflated on its feet. And I questioned him, saying, Who are you? The spirit inside said, I am a demon called Apocryphal, the Arabian. And I said to him, What angel are you inhibited by? He said, By him who is born as a virgin, and angels worship him, and who is to be crucified by the Jews. But actually the Roman soldiers do it. The Jews demanded that Pilate had him crucified, really, but that was at the Jews' request and at the Jews' demand. So. But anyway, okay, next chapter. I said to him, Tell me, what can you do? He said, I can move mountains and transport houses and throw down kings. And I said to him, If you can, lift this stone up to the highest point of the corner of the temple. He said, Not only will I lift the stone up, O king, but with the help of the demon in the Red Sea, I will lift up also the airy pillar that is in the Red Sea, and you can set it where you will. And saying this, he slipped in underneath the stone, and he lifted it, and mounted the steps carrying the stone, and placed it at the top of the entrance of the temple. I, Solomon, said in elation, Truly now has been fulfilled in the scripture that says, The stone that builders rejected, this became the head in the corner, and so on. And I again said to him, Go and bring me the pillar in the Red Sea that you spoke of. Apocryphal went down and brought up the demon and the pillar, both of them carrying it from Arabia. But I, because these 2 spirits were able to shake the whole world in a single moment, cleverly outwitted them by sealing them around on this side and that. And I said, Keep careful watch. And they have remained supporting the pillar in the air to this day as a demonstration of the wisdom that was given to me. Or you could say a demonstration. The pillar of the enormous size was hanging in the air, supported by the spirits, and from below the spirits supported it as if they were air. When we looked carefully, the base of the pillar seemed slightly askew, and it is so to this day. And I asked the other demon, the one that brought up from the sea with the pillar, who are you, and what are you called, and what is your function? And I have heard much about you. And the demon said, I, King Solomon, am called Abezethabu. Is that how you pronounce that? Abezethabu. And once I used to damn motorcycle. And heard that in the background of the camera loud. I don't know how it'll show up in this recording. All right, and the demon said, I, king, am called Abezethabu. And once I used to dwell in the first heaven, which is named Amaleth, however you pronounce that. And I am a malevolent winged spirit with a single wing who plots against everything that breathes under heaven. I was present when Moses went into Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and I hardened his heart. I am he who Jans and Jambres, which are the names of those sorcerers that the snake. Moses' staff turned into a snake and ate their snakes that transformed from a staff and all that. But Jubilees also, which I might read later, talks about some stuff which I don't want to go on and on about, but kind of coincides with some of this. The powers of Mastema, let loose to kill the firstborn of Pharaoh and all that stuff. But anyway, I am he who Jans and Jambres invoked when they withstood Moses in Egypt. I am he who wrestled against Moses with wonders and signs. And I said to him, and how was it that you were found in the Red Sea? He said, at the exodus of the sons of Israel, I hardened Pharaoh's heart, and I stirred up Pharaoh and his servants and caused them to pursue after the sons of Israel and his servants and caused them to pursue the sons of Israel. Okay, I almost lost my place. And Pharaoh followed up close, and upon them so did all the Egyptians. I was there then, and we followed close, and we all came to the Red Sea. And it came to pass when the sons of Israel had crossed the water, turned back and covered the entire Egyptian army. The water turned back and covered the entire Egyptian army. I was with them then, and I too was covered by the water. And so I remained in the sea, kept under the pillar, until Ephippus came. I, Solomon, charged him solemnly to support the pillar to the end of time, and with God's help, I adorned his temple with all seemliness, and I continued to rejoice and glorify him. Okay, and here's the final chapter here. Now I took wives without number, every land and kingdom, and I was on exit to the king of the Jebusites. And I saw a woman in their kingdom, and I fell violently in love, and wanted to add her to my wives. And I said to their priests, give me this Shumanite, because I have fallen violently in love with her. And they said to me, if you had fallen in love with our daughter, worship our gods, great Raphan and Moloch, and take her. But I refused to worship and said, I do not worship a foreign god. But they made the girl promise, saying, if you should happen to go into Solomon's kingdom, say to him, I will not sleep with you unless you do what my people do. Take 5 locusts and slaughter them in the name of Raphan and Moloch. And because I loved the damsel, for she was very beautiful, and because I was without understanding, thought nothing of the blood of locusts, and I took them under my hands and sacrificed them to the name of Raphan and Moloch. So he compromised. He figures, I don't believe in Raphan and Moloch in my own heart. I guess it's okay. And he kind of had a case of the hornies there, which did him in. And I took the girl into my royal palace. And the Spirit of God was taken away from me. And from that day onwards, what I said seemed like nonsense, and she forced me to build temples to idols. So I, a miserable wretch, did what she told me, and the glory of God departed from me altogether. And my spirit was plunged into darkness, and I became a laughingstock to idols and demons. That is why I have written this in my testament, so that you who hear and pray, and give heed to the last things and not the first. So say, give heed to the last things and not the first. And hear and pray and give heed to, okay, say that again. And give heed to the last things and not the first. So something to think about. So may find a full measure of grace forever and ever. Amen. So that is the end of the Testament of Solomon. But I was thinking about reading Jubilees next. And it's a pretty long deal here. Let's see, we're going into 114, 100 and something pages here before you get to the life of Adam and Eve. So even if you take away a little bit of the prologue, in this 137 pages Jubilees here, which if you wanted to read Jubilees on your own, that Apocryphal, somebody, a YouTuber named Apocryphal, and a number behind his name, has the whole books of Enoch and Jubilees, reading all of that. I'm subscribed to him, but the reason why I'm here so people like you and me can get up and read this, even though we don't have the perfect voices like the dude like on YouTube, which is pretty cool. He puts a lot of work into reading all of that. But the perfect voice and no accidental stammer. How does he do that? No accidental stammering of or losing your place in that. There's other people out there to read it can do that. The rest of us just do it. You know, sometimes you want to see another person reading once in a while. All right, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it or get something out of it, and try to read Jubilees next. It's going to be quite a project. It's going to take some time. But yeah, if you're looking at the King James Version of Genesis and Exodus, you'll find some pretty enlightening and interesting stuff in here. But unlike the Genesis and Exodus of the King James Bible, you're more details about Enoch and the Nephilim are in there, and a little stuff about Moses and Pharaoh that make a lot more sense. And you see that the King James Bible, Genesis and Exodus, standing the way it is, you just have too many questions ever since I was young. And this, even though some people don't like it, it gave me some answers. And thus given me the thinking I'm thinking now. I mean, but anyway, you got your answers. Everything is cool. So it's basically your right to read this, you know, to question everything. And all right, I'm just gonna end this video here anyway. You get the idea. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I have some videos that I read some of this stuff separately from about 6-7 years ago in my old videos. It's like I looked different back then, and I don't know why I don't even delete and update those videos. But I don't know. Some of my stuff is a keepsake. I guess I can't bear to get rid of them. I don't know. But all right, that's the end of this video.